Usually it's in the top 3, maybe even 1 or 2 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But we're very proud of this place, and what I love about this place, I was born and raised in Iowa. We're kind of a simple state, we don't have too much. This building, when I was a younger fella, and I would come here as a kid, I would later teach, I'd have the streets come down. This last floor was here. So it was kind of fun from the ground floor. You could then all the way to the top, bottom, top. You see that? The arm of the Statue of Liberty and her torch. In about 2000. I see. Okay. All right. Throughout this tour, you are going to probably want to ask some questions, and that's fine. Chances are I'm not going to know the answers. I'm going to make it up. If you do know the answers, don't say anything. Because they are a little secret. I'm kidding. From here, we're going to go this way to the executive branch wing. And as we do, and if there's a card in this window, that means we can actually go into the reception area for the governor's office. Past the reception area is the governor's office. And over here is the office of our Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg. Some information about Governor Tim Reynolds, Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg. And again, if this was during the week, 50-50 whether or not they'd be here, and to be honest with you, the only reason why they're going to come here is to see you. They specifically come to greet people from all over the world. So if you would gather around this way, kind of maybe have a circle, big group, it's just absolutely wonderful. I will share with you one of our great prized possessions, our famous doll case. This doll case was the idea of this lady right here in the back. Her name is Billy Ray. Today, Billy is in her 90s. She lives in Des Moines. In 1976, she was the first lady to then Governor Robert Ray. And she had this idea for the 200th anniversary of our country. Nice shirt. See how I worked that in there? To create this way. This is the first, one of the first photographs that's actually put into color, which they got pretty much correct. What they did not get correct is our Iowa flag, which is actually blue, white, and red, not red, white, and blue. That is one of our original schools. Am I pointing to it or not?
No.
So close.
This school no longer exists in Iowa of the Civil War for the Grand Army of the Republic. When the capital moved from Iowa City to Des Moines, this is where the big brown box once stood until this building was completed in 1884, and within a few years the big brown box burned down. In its place, the Sailors and Soldiers Monument. If you can imagine back in the day, this was a gaslit building. Culture of its day, people are smoking, etc. Applied and became states. In 1842, Iowa became its very own territory, and we built for the capital of the territory of Iowa this magnificent building today in Iowa City. 4 years later, 1846, we become the 29th state added to the Union. This continues to be our state capital in Iowa City. Today, if you're a student at the University of Iowa, it's very possible you may actually have a class in that building. You would handpick day laborers, wood carvers, and stone cutters using these antiquated tools to build this building of some 14 million bricks, 29 different types of marble, and 12 different types of wood. It cost about $2.8 million to build this building. Today it's estimated at over $900 million to build it today. And to give you an idea of how meticulous Finkbein was in the construction of this building, he actually found a discrepancy in the accounting of $3.11. He wanted a building that would last 1,000 years, so we're doing okay. But he also wanted a building that would be fireproof and that no fire could ever take down this building, and yet, in 1904, there was a fire in our house chambers that would have destroyed this building, if not for one man. The class of battleships is over 800 feet in length. So to put that in perspective, If you get the chance to look out those middle doors, you will see the tallest building in the state of Iowa. That's the principal building. It's over 600 feet in height. Inward, and again, you get some of that ventilation. Just like in the Supreme Court room, this room is exactly as you would have found it in 1904, with the exception of the ceiling. Because of the fire of 1904, they had to redo the ceiling. They were experimenting with this crazy thing called three-dimensional, so if you sort of look at it, it kind of pops out. Where? Oh, that's right, you mentioned that, yeah. Where? And it's funny, right? This is the display case of our judicial branch. And again, if you were to walk right out those doors and keep going, walk across the street, you're going to run into this building built in 2003. Today, this is the home of the judicial branch. This mural was in the ceiling, taken down because of the fire of 1904. Today, this mural is in this building. And again, you can tour that building. I don't think they're open on the weekends. This is our 9-member appellate court. And this is our 7-member state Supreme Court, which is my favorite picture, which no longer exists, because last year's picture of our state Supreme Court was taken just and the entire building, by the way, is a great photo. We've got senior pictures in the law library when we get there. We have quinceañeras oftentimes on Saturdays. We have weddings. People actually come down the grand staircase, get married on the glass floor, which is pretty cool. This grand staircase was built at the same time the Capitol of Illinois was being built, and in fact, these lovely ladies, which were originally gaslit, they were just holding torches, they were actually commissioned for the Capitol building in Illinois. But look closely. And you will see why the people of Illinois did not want these ladies statued in the 1800s because of the naked eagle. Considered too inappropriate for the people of Illinois, the people of Iowa said, we'll take them. They've been ours ever since. You notice these garlands underneath, the attention to detail. There's different birds and bees and different snakes and fruits and vegetables. You see the various types of marble on the railing, and you see these granite steps, which we can actually go up these granite steps right now. But before you want to try it? Tour guide for a day?
I'm so tempted. Let's go.
Don't get it. Well, have a great day.
Yeah,
So the building was completed in 1884 for $2.8 million. There was no money left over for any art. So it took until 1905 and $10,000 that we acquired this mural called Westward. And it tells the story of the first citizens of the United States pushing into the wilderness to the west, planting seeds of progress, literally walking along the wagons carrying their prized possessions, being followed by these ladies carrying the technology of their day, a steam engine and a small battery called a dynamo. And if you look closely, you will see, long before the greatest movie ever made,
Weekend at Bernie's.
No, that's definitely up there. Thank you very much. Field of Dreams, long before they come out of the baseball or the cornfields to play baseball, you can see the faces of the early pioneers that would become the first citizens of the great state of Iowa. 3 years later, we acquired our mosaics. This was the idea of a gentleman from New York City named Frederick Dielman, who literally sketched out on a piece of paper the 3 branches of government and the executive, you can barely see it, the legislature, the judiciary, 3 other concepts of government and education, security, and defense. Once it was sketched out, it was sent to Venice, Italy. What it is. It's like the eyes of the Mona Lisa in the Louvre. I should put it on you. So let's do this. And when we get up there on this side, it looks just like and then as you walk past, those people continue to follow you. It's a pretty cool operation. By the way, that was our first historical building. Today, on the west side across the street, we have a new historical building. It's really pretty cool. And oh, by the way, that's corn. Boyd Bradley from Marshall County, Iowa, planted this corn for 1912 and 1970. Here, we're shipping our way over this way, back into the north. When man first ate, they had to hunt. In time, they required learn to farm, use fire, around and up it goes to this great age of enlightenment. Next to each lunette, you have our 12 statues, each with its own meaning. This lady, for example, is a symbol of education, science. This gentleman scrolled his hand on the book is a symbol of law. This lady with the horn is a symbol of fame. Somebody famous walked into a room, they sound the horn, let everybody know somebody famous is about to walk into the room. This gentleman with the torch, symbol of victory. This lady's my favorite. This is the fifth.
Key. Antam. Namtam. Huh?
So that everyone in the chorus could see it. And that's downtown Des Moines. Which I think is awesome. I don't know if anybody went to the farmer's market today. We also have our World Renowned Symphony. Bruce Springsteen is coming to town. You do? What's that? I actually had somebody last year. We do these like day tours for day camps and stuff. And a young whippersnapper, he must have been about 8 or 9, but he asked me what this machine did.
No.
I had to explain that one. We also have, by the way, at the end of October, our World Food Prize. So variants from all over the world come into Des Moines, and in our House of Representatives, somebody is awarded the World Food Prize, which is originally named for Norman Borlaug, who was from Presco, Iowa. He would later become Secretary of Agriculture for Roosevelt. He developed a seed that went on to feed millions of people around the world. And that's who the World Food Prize is given to, somebody who benefits humanity through agriculture. What else can I share with you? Yes, please do.
So, I knew this from last time I came here. So, when we had the plans to build the library, it was only supposed to be 2 stories. But then we went to Illinois' capital, and we looked at theirs. But then we stole theirs, and we made the library they were supposed to have, and they made the library we were supposed to have.
Let me just point out that if you apply yourself and work real hard, someday you might be a tour guide. That was really good. And I think that's probably right. I mean, I don't know. I think Michigan has a big law library that's similar to this. I don't know if this is it or not, but that's where the idea and the concept came to. But you're right. They actually added a floor so that this would be the highest of its time or something like that. So now we could go to the House of Representatives, unless, no, I won't. But I could, I won't.
I have a quick question.
Yes,
The railing, I see, but is that wood, all the intricate stuff, or is that metal?
I believe that's all cast iron. I believe. I do wonderful impressions of the very, very early presidents. In particular is committee room number 5, where in 1904 there was a fella who was working by candlelight. He left his post, the candle toppled over, it went up this hollow shaft, and a fire raged in the attic above this ceiling. Right away, the governor at the time, he asked 2 things. One, he wanted the books from the law library to be thrown out the window down makeshift chutes to ensure their safety. The other thing that he asked that you would probably not find today were the boys from East High School. That's the big high school just north of the interstate. In 1904, before the interstate existed, the boys from East came running through an open field into this building, into this room with the fire, to take out these original 100 desks. All saved by the boys of East High School. And in fact, down at the tour desk, we have a display case of the fire of 1904. And in that display case, there's some artifacts. I think they found an old boot, some candy wrappers, some charred wood remains, and there's a picture of the very first fire truck of our day, which was a wagon led by 2 horses named Jack and Jack. They were both named Jack. And in the middle of the wagon was a big bucket of water with a hose attached, which by the time they brought it up to the 2nd floor, there was no water pressure to put out the fire. And again, this fire would have destroyed this building if not for one man who understood 2 things. The thing he understood from the design of this building was that by crawling into the smoke-filled, fire-filled attic, he found these huge metal doors. And by risking his life to shut these metal doors in time without oxygen, the fire could eventually be contained. But not before it destroyed this entire ceiling, which came crashing down. Below us in the Supreme Court room and the consultation room, those were also destroyed. But the most unfortunate part of the fire of 1904 was the very next day. The governor asked the same man who saved this building to go up into the attic and assess the damage. And with the ceiling that no longer existed, he was walking along some wooden planks. One had been charred through, and he fell and died on the floor of the house. Fast forward 100 plus last year, our legislators are creating a bill to commemorate the name of this Australian immigrant named Crampton Lindley. Come back to Des Moines, you'll see something, a road, a bridge, something, named for the man who saved this building. Those are lowered down to the ground, bulbs replaced, cleaned as needed, and brought back up before the legislative session begins, 2nd Monday in January. And again, you see the original look of the ceiling, which would have been similar to the house, but for the fire of 1904.
Is everyone like intermixed, or is there like Democrats on one side, Republicans on the other side?
We are a majority of Republicans in both the Senate and the House, so it bleeds over onto the other side. And then the senior members, they actually get to choose their desks first. So like when I was in 8th grade social studies and I was a teacher, if I ever allowed my students, which I never did, to choose their own desks, naturally they would choose the ones furthest away from me, which is what senior members do. They will usually choose the desks in the back. I think it would go to the senior member, the person with the most seniority. Yes?
What are the rules about what kind of items you can have on your desk? Decorations, personal items?
So far as I know, I don't know that there is a rule, but I will tell you that they obviously leave stuff, and they're not in session now, but they will leave things.
Good job.
No. Yes, don't fluff your glasses down there. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. So this is our whispering gallery, which is really not that any different than our nation's capital. And the story is that because of the acoustics, Thomas Jefferson knew exactly where to stand to hear private conversations he wasn't supposed to know anything about. And if you stay there, and if I go across the rotunda, and of course you can hear me because I'm using my tour guide voice, but when I get behind this wall, I will take it down with much quiet. Listen. You guys hear that? That's the whispering gallery. Again, you can see these pipes. Those have been capped. But again, because of the gas in that building, this would have been